All right. Hello and welcome to the next customer highlight episode, where we, of course, sharing some insights, some stories behind our customers, and some fun. That's what we do. So this episode, we have Wayne van Staden from Mentis3D. So Mentis is very well known in South Africa, specifically for the MGF technology. So Mentis 3D is also certified, ISO certified, which is of course a big deal in the in those days. It's really important. And yeah, so first of all, Wayne, thanks for joining me. It is morning on my end in California. I know it's evening in South Africa. So welcome.
Hey, thank you, Konstantin. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and thanks for again staying late. So yeah, it's always pleasure to talk to the people from other side of the globe. So and of course get some insights and just know people better. So again, thank you
Yeah,
so much.
only a
Um,
pleasure.
yeah, so let's start with well, first of all, I would love to learn from you how Mentis 3D, of course, sort of the founding story. I mean, I would love to learn from the perspective of the Mentis Group as the mother company, of course, behind Mentis 3D, and of course, what's led to establishing the prototyping company behind the company that do a lot of the, I guess, mining and like some metal business. So yeah, just share with us how it's all led to the Mentis 3D.
Yeah, absolutely. So, our current CEO, Andrew Mentis, his grandfather was our founder of Mentis Africa, which is our mother company. He's always been an enthusiast for technology and new technological advances, and as well as additive manufacturing. And so 5 years ago, he came across the HBMJF printers, and it really intrigued him into what we could do, breaking ground in South Africa, reaching new markets and stuff like that using this technology. And so obviously, pulled in the board and pulled in the shareholders and ran the idea past them, and he got the green light for it. And Mentis 3D was born. We got in touch with HB, and we acquired our first printer. Had the guys come out here from Spain to install it for us. We first had to, find a property that was suitable for it. You're not allowed to have any seismic activities. It needs to be climate controlled, and it needs to be basically like a clean room. So we had to get the property all set up, and our facilities all set up, and the printer arrived, and the guys did the installation, and that was 5 years ago, and slowly but surely been breaking ground into our South African market by looking at various different kind of industries, uh, automotive, medical, R&D, engineering, mining. There's a whole bunch of industries that we've already targeted and looked at. And yeah, from one printer, we then purchased another two printers, one being the full color MJF 580, as well as the 5210, which is just a later model to the original 4210 that we had purchased. And yeah, we slowly but surely been breaking ground and making headway into the market. It's not been easy in the slightest, to say the least. The South African market, the general people that we deal with in our markets are set in their ways. So if they've been accustomed to something that they've been doing for years, to try and change their minds and to try and change their business way and business plan of action has been very challenging. But we've been breaking through and making progress, not as fast as we would have liked to, but we've been breaking through and getting through to the guys. And then obviously, with the whole COVID epidemic as well, that did slow our momentum down quite significantly. So coming out of that and starting to see that the markets are changing and people are starting to put more money down in R&D. People are starting to invest more money, and they're just more open-minded into trying new things and new methods. And yeah, that's basically where we've come from. So it was Andrew who took the initiative, and he saw this opportunity, and him being a forward-thinking person, he's always just looking at what's next, where to, and what are our future plans, where are we going, how are we going to grow, and that's just where we've come from.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. So, I mean, I guess the timing was extremely right because I think at that time, probably slightly earlier, so HP exactly come up with a machine with MGF technology and just starting to promoting that. And I mean, for for many for many manufacturers, MGF become a almost a plug and play machine that you can use without any big hurdles. So it's really almost like the production horse that can do like the stuff that you're expecting from it, of course, and with the support with the support from HP. I think that was a and still is a big deal for the market, and that's something I guess that even maybe break the ice for some of the customers that was hesitant to the new technologies like additive, like in general, of course.
Yeah.
But then with MGF, they starting to see, okay, it's actually a production horse machine. It can do a lot. It can do bulk manufacturing and pretty fast, of course. So yeah, so the timing was right. But as you mentioned, like it's the dynamic of the market is really different between the regions. So in South Africa, it's one dynamic, and by dynamic I mean how fast the customers actually adopting not even the new technologies, but even the new way to prototyping the parts, or prototyping overall, I would say. And yeah, we had the almost a luxury to seeing like different regions and how in different regions additive manufacturing, of course, and other technologies, but specifically additive manufacturing is developing, how it's adopting among the customers, among the and again among the big manufacturers, and of course among small manufacturers. And the dynamic is very different, depends on the region. Like for in Asia, we can see it's probably slightly slower than in other regions. In South Africa, I'm getting this from your words. Of course, it's also like, as I can see, it's a slightly slower. But the good thing is that yeah, I mean, just it's definitely pushing. It's definitely I would say increasing the pace of that adoption, and that's great to see. Actually, it's great to see. So yeah,
Yeah, no,
but
look,
mhm.
we know that Europe is progressing a lot faster with the additive manufacturing taking off in that region, and we don't have much more insight into Asia or whatever, but I do believe, like in Europe and in the States itself, additive manufacturing is growing at a rapid rate.
Yeah, yeah. And the nice thing about that again, so when a lot of the business has started in additive manufacturing, maybe like 15 years ago, 20 years ago, for many people, additive manufacturing was seen as the technology that will replace a lot of the others, like CNC, for example, or sheet metals or others. It didn't happen, which is good actually, because it's now we can see really synergy between those technologies like additive, CNC, and other technologies. We see a lot of the what we call hybrid shops that do pretty much everything. Um, in the same shop. So that's great that this technology just find the place in the production process, in the manufacturing process. That's I think it's very important, of course. But I would also love to learn how you got to manufacturing, and of course why you got to manufacturing yourself.
So I used to work for Mentis Africa on our steel side of things. I used to head up sales for our project customers on that end. And I took employment at another company, and I was with this company for 3 years until Mentis contacted me and informed me about their plans of going into additive manufacturing. And asked if I was keen to come and head up sales for them on the side. And, being a new industry, and I've also, share the same enthusiasm that Andrew does for technology and additive manufacturing. I thought this was the perfect opportunity to try and get into something like this and see where this goes. And so I started with Mentis in 2020 again, and yeah, it's just been a roller coaster of a ride. Like I said, especially during the epidemic and all of that, and trying to basically, keep the business afloat during that time. Um, you're trying to reach out to customers and break new grounds into different industries, and you can't put a sample in somebody's hand. You can't go and see them face to face, and we've had to do this virtual meetings, and it was challenging. But yeah, no, I've loved the experience that I've gained here. I'm still gaining experience on a daily basis. You learn something new each day, and it's amazing to see where we're going with this.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great to hear, of course. So, some other topic that I guess you probably seeing a lot in the industry and of course in your business is around the automation. And again, the automation obviously was the hot topic for the many years, and automation means a lot of the different things
Yeah.
for the people. But how I view this from the my perspective is, so I mean, in the current days, what we're seeing is, of course, first of all, it's extremely hard to find the talents. Of course, talented people that also willing to work, especially in manufacturing. So being manufacturing, I mean, slightly legacy space, even though additive manufacturing is really, very modern, of course, but still a lot of the people, I don't know, have some hesitation to work in manufacturing. So talents is really hard to find. And of course, overall, like the labor rates now is pretty high, of course, so it's expensive to hire people, it's expensive to hire talented people, of course, to have multiple people on board. So how you viewing the automation on the both software level and on the hardware level? Does Mentis 3D apply any automation again on the hardware level, on the software level? And how overall you think this is going to um, going to have, what evolution the automation you think going to have in the next, I don't know, years, for specifically in manufacturing?
Look, yeah, no, with regards to the automation, we've tried to implement a lot of the automation processes into Mentis 3D itself, keeping our team relatively small. We're a small team of 5 staff members, and as you mentioned earlier on, the printers themselves, HP's made it very easygoing, basically plug and play system. So we've got a production manager who does the nesting of the machines, and there's no bypassing that. You've got to have some human interaction with regards to the business itself. So and then obviously with the post production as well, once the parts have been printed and so on, we've got staff that help clean the parts and put the parts through the post production processes. um, but yeah, no, look, we've always looking for ways in getting the company more automized, or if I could say it that way, and making things a lot more efficient, a lot more less human interaction, and by during, like I mentioned to you, during the COVID times, we were able to uh, set the prints up remotely. We didn't have to be in an office. Um, we could plan a whole week's worth of builds and run that automatically. Um, yeah, so it's always something that we're looking at, and like with regards to what you asked and where it's going in the years ahead, we're still waiting to see ourselves. Um, the main goal that we're looking at right now is becoming the largest printing bureau in Africa. Um, we'd love to, in the near future, have a warehouse full of our MJF printers, and still keeping a small team. not looking at growing our staff count or anything of that sort. But yeah, like I mentioned, the HP's made it really basic and simple for us, and implementing their printers along with Digifabs as a software has just been a dream come true. It's taken away a lot of the manual process that we would have had to have done if we were using standard commercial practices, in using various softwares for invoicing and all of that type of stuff. So it's made the hill to climb less challenging for us to implement these softwares and these printers.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad you mentioned. I'm glad you mentioned that you really seeing this, almost as a strategy to keep to keep team small and be very efficient, of course, with all the processes, and I mean on the production side, just on the business side as well. Because to me, I think it is really all about the future of manufacturing. Like, first of all, it's localized manufacturers, in specific locations. It is also very efficient local manufacturers that really automate everything that needs to be automated. Of course, not 100%. It just doesn't make any sense to automate all of that. But those things that just it's really good candidate for automation. That's something that shops need to do. And just overall, small teams are really efficient at a lot of the things. It even can grow much faster than the bigger teams, because with bigger teams, you actually started to spend more time with the operational stuff, with the stuff related to the team. Of course, you need to make sure that people interacting with each other efficiently and the processes are set up. So it's a lot of the problems that comes with scaling, of course, scaling
Yeah.
of the business itself, and also scaling your team, scaling your people. So that's very very interesting take on that. So how do you think your customers viewing Mentis 3D from the customer experience perspective, like from the responsiveness perspective, from the quality, of course, and overall, how you view the Mentis 3D from the competitive advantage perspective? Like, what do you think you do differently, compared to your competitors, of course, and what you actually prioritize in your work? What's important for you from the business perspective, from the perspective of how you can actually win more businesses?
So, being an ISO accredited company, we do strive on quality, and second to that, we strive on turnaround. Digifab has made it really efficient in getting our quotes out in the time frame that we need it to be out, making it more easy and customer friendly for customers to upload their parts to the website itself, get an instant quote, know exactly what they're looking at paying for certain parts, and upping the quantities. And it's just been really beneficial to us as a team to have Digifab in our corner. That alone is something that we're doing differently to our competitors. Competitors, as far as I know, are also using maybe similar softwares, but from feedback that I've had out in our markets, there's been a couple of issues that they've experienced where it's not as user friendly. They would upload a model and get one price today, and upload the same model tomorrow and get a different price due to volumes being changed and so on. So yeah, like that's basically the feedback that we've had from customers, is that it's a user friendly experience. It's on point with what they're looking at getting when they place the quote, generate a quote, and place the order. They've got a set lead time on Digifab that which say to them we're looking at 10 working days, where we strive on getting our orders out between 5 and 7 working days. So yeah, it's just been an overall pleasant experience having you guys in our corner. I mean, just for example, today I had a customer ask me, what is the software that you guys are utilizing? Is it only set up for manufacturing, or would I be able to implement it into my own system? I gave him your company name. I said Digifabs. He went straight to your website, and I think he's made contact with your team to try and figure out if there would be some sort of solution around getting this sort of information, because the great thing on the most positive feedback that we've received from Digifab is the updates that the customer receives on telling them exactly where their order lies, whether it's been in generated quote, firm offer sent, it's been freed for manufacturing, it's in post production, and it's ready for shipping or ready to be collected. The customers just love that feedback that they get from the system, knowing exactly where in line they are and when they can expect their order. Um, yeah, so you know, I haven't had a single complaint with regards to Digifab from any of my customers in 4 years. We've got guys ranging from 75 years old to students using the online platform in uploading their parts, and it's just been easy enough for everyone to grasp and everyone to make use of.
I mean, first of all, it's great to hear, of course. Secondly, it's actually a great segue to my next question because um, e-commerce as the concept actually viewed by different people really differently sometimes. And I'm glad you mentioned like it's really regardless of the age, like intuitive interface can make a difference. So that's an interesting point. Uh, on that, I would ask this. So, do you see like any do you see any sort of the hesitancy from the, let's call, different groups of the customers? What I mean by that, so I mean, it is the one thing that, small customers came and ordering some parts online using e-commerce interface, self-checkout interface. And of course, like how something that we see from feedback from our customers, that this transparency actually build the trust. So customers actually uh, expecting expecting seeing the price, expecting they know how the process looks like. That's great. And of course they're expecting to get the price. And as you mentioned, it's best when they can, after 2 weeks, come again to the to the website, place the order, see the same price, and order again. And of course the tracking capability is also important, because again, it's much like Pizza Hut tracker, when you can actually know where your pizza is coming. So that's awesome. Obviously it's give you some additional control of your life, or at least the pizza, or part. But yeah, so my question is, um, what type of the customers using the online interface for placing the order? Is it mostly smaller customers, or you can see like really large corporation, big customers also like using the same place of the, so they're using the online interface, they used to it already, so they prefer online interface instead of like emailing you, or giving a call. So what was your experience with that?
So our experience with that was that generally, your day-to-day customers, the smaller guys, your industrial designers, all of those guys, they were very easy in using Digifab straight off the bat, going to the website, uploading it themselves, getting a quote, and placing the order. We did find with larger corporations, a lot of the guys felt it more secure in sending the files to me via email and having me upload it or whatever the case. Up until such point where I actually made it an initiative of mine to go out and train these guys on how to use Digifab, and it wasn't like a full-blown day training session or anything. It was literally half an hour just going in there with my laptop and showing the guys, look, it's really this simple. You just upload it. It's generated a profile for yourself. You can even go into your profile and see all the existing models that you've uploaded prior to this, and I was just giving them a basic run around of it. And slowly but surely convinced the guys to go that route. We, like I mentioned earlier, we're not a big team. My focus is on being in front of our customers, figuring out what projects they're busy with, what's in the pipeline down the way, and what to expect in a few months from them. So for me to sit behind my laptop and generate quotes for customers doesn't suit me well. I've got time. I can spend my time much better being in front of them. So convincing these guys to change their ways and change their way of thinking, and uploading the parts themselves wasn't a headache in the slightest. It was quite a breeze. And like I mentioned to you earlier on, we've got everyone from students. I've got students that are still in high school that are, hobbyists and want to print figurines and all of that type of stuff, to industrial designers, to engineers, to R&D groups, and like just anyone you can think of falls under the same umbrella, up until guys that are sitting on retirement, and they've got some time to spend, waste, and money to waste, and they're printing all kinds of weird and wonderful things for camping gears and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got elderly people, we've got students, we've got everyone in between, and that's now generally using the website instead of emailing inquiries through to us.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome because again, so I mean, more people experiencing this is better for sure. First of all, because they starting to seeing not only just the benefits, but also like for them, it become the great replacement for the email because it's instant, because you can see the instant feedback. And the great thing is that in other industries, this is very well known concept. I mean, just overall, just self checkout, just online quotes, like insurance companies. I mean, obviously, like travel industry, pretty much everywhere you can actually get the price without touching, without connecting with any sales reps or something. And that's, to me, is should be normal. It should be just a normal thing for most of the businesses, because yeah, I mean, it's built trust, it's transparency for the customers. Of course, it is the helping with the tracking the things. And yeah, so I'm glad that this is normalizing now in the manufacturing industry, of course. And the best thing is that yeah, customers finally used to it, and customers finally yeah, feel it. Is it a very pleasant experience and very comfortable experience to just do the thing without having any touching email, for example. So that's really great. So that's interesting because that's usually the one side of the story, like the customer experience, of course. And there's the another side of the story, where there's the certain trust, or maybe initially distrust, between the shop owners or the shop operators and the coding software. It's usually around accuracy, or what usually people think accuracy is. And from our point of view, so there's the two things: there's the pricing and there's the costing, of course. And pricing is not equal to the costing at all. And with all that, the accuracy as the concept is not that it's quite complex concept, because if you really want to be quote unquote accurate, you need to, first of all, of course, you need to track pretty much everything, all operations on your shop, of course, electricity, all the all the loans, all the payments that you make and stuff like that. And that's second part of the story. And of course, on the top of that, with the pricing, there's another important component, that you can be as accurate as possible. You can, of course, spend a lot of time with every single quote to make sure it is really hit your, let's say, 20% margin, 25% margin goal, or something like that. But the problem is, usually printers that just sitting can do nothing cost you more than printing than slightly less accurate quotes, right? So if you're not like 100% accurate, uh, and at the same time you're still printing 24/7, you still, I mean, you still grow your business, you're still getting your margins and things like that. So what was your take on the accuracy and just overall experience and with the pricing, how you view the pricing with again, tools like digifabster, of course?
Look, the accuracy, we can't fault you guys on that in any way. Um, it's just been pinpoint precision every single time round. And with regards to the costing, um, there are many factors that we've had to take into place. Like you said, we got a running costs, you got rent to pay, you've got wages and materials and all of that that comes into place. And the way that we've built up our costing model behind the scenes, and implemented that into our pricing, it's just been flawless. It's just been, I don't know how to put it. It's just it hasn't been a challenge in the slightest. And we've had to do the exercise in the beginning when we just implemented digifabs into the system. Making adjustments to our pricing based on our current costings and all of that is as easy as opening up a website and making a few adjustments on the figures, and it just automatically reflects directly into our pricing. And it's really been as easy as 1, 2, 3, eh?
Gotcha,
And
gotcha.
yeah,
Mhm.
I just also wanted to touch base with regards to the pricing. One thing that we do have quite regularly is customers loving the fact that they are able to come and generate a quote and pick up that, okay, the model is pretty expensive based on the density, based on the current cubic centimeters of plastic required for the print or whatever the case, and for them to go and make alterations to the model itself and be back in half an hour and generate a new quote and get an accurate figure. We've had customers, we've got very thorough customers out here who double check their volumes against Digifabster. And we've had a situation, I think it was when you guys were implementing the new UI or whatever the case, where we may have had one or two, and I reflected that with your team. I spoke to them about the volumes being a little bit different to what we were reading on other softwares, and it was rectified within minutes, and we've never had that issue again. So having that trust in knowing that we can confidently go out there and know that whatever the custom is uploading based on volume, he's going to get an accurate price towards his model, has also just been such a relief for us, because that was one thing that comes stepping into this role as a sales manager and not having any experience in this industry. Not this was all new to us. That was always a concern, was how accurate are the quotes that are going out? Do we need to track every single quote? Do we need to run every single model through other softwares to double check the volumes and make sure that everything's aligned? And we've done a few studies around it, and we haven't found any faults besides for that time that I've mentioned to you. But just having that confidence, knowing that I can tell a customer, well, if that's what the price is on DigiFab, that is an accurate price. So if you're getting different reading from your volumes on your other softwares, we would double check it for them, but we generally find that their readings are wrong, and your readings on DigiFab aligns with the readings that we get on our other softwares.
Yeah, that's awesome, and that's very interesting point that again, customers checking the, actually we're able to upload the model and see that, okay, so it's slightly expensive for me, so I can go redesign it, just a bit, upload again to see, okay, so it's reflect some changes, and of course reflect into the pricing. So that, yeah, so that's sort of the next chapter that I see as the very important one, especially for the engineers that designing the parts in SolidWorks, in Fusion 360, and some other software, of course, be able to not only just designing and optimizing the design, but also, of course, see the how much it costs instantly, and that's important because again, so it's yes, it's at the end of the day, you're trying to come up with a design that's really efficient, but at the same time, you need to keep in mind that it cost is and the price is really important factor, especially when you're scaling, from the prototypes to like some batches of the parts and things like that. So that's again, so it's a not only just transparency with the customers and the building the trust, but also like just efficient tool to yeah, make sure that your design is spot on. So yeah, it's interesting take for sure. So the other interesting aspect that again, some of the customers of course spending more time on, and some others just don't have this luxury to spend on. So it's marketing, and of course, marketing is not only slightly different between the regions, but also, of course, slightly different. Depends on resources, of course, and also depends on the audience. And we see more and more, of course, that for example, social media marketing, social media picking up a lot, not only just on social media but YouTube being the social media as well, where people like not necessarily want to, potential customers not necessarily want um, to, of course, to watch some advertising, to just, they want to, when they have a pain, when they have an issue, they want to, look for some solution. And ideally at that point they might already know someone, maybe even almost personally, even in the somewhere in LinkedIn, that that person expert in this specific field, of course, because they subscribe for them, they reading them every single day, or watching the YouTube, watching the videos. So basically, this is something that more and more become very um, very common way to sort of advertise on the customers. When you actually, yes, you're the expert on specific field, you're actually, do a lot of the social posting. Of course, you're sharing your expertise, you're sharing some knowledges on specific topics, and that's how you create your brand, or your just your name basically. And that's how you get almost into the heads of your potential customers at some point, where they actually uh, uh, in their brains, some specific topics connected to some specific people that they subscribe in LinkedIn or YouTube. So what was your experience with Mentis3D on the marketing side? How you getting into front of the customers now, and what you think is the most efficient in your region, and of course in your specific industry?
So, you know, we've actually outsourced our marketing to another company that helps us with that, and we've utilized social media such as LinkedIn, your Google ads, that type of stuff, and we found that it definitely helps in the growth of the company in getting our brand out there and making people aware of the additive manufacturing services that we offer in their regions. And but to be quite honest with you, in our South African region, what we found was face to face still works best for us. So, going out there, going to go and do the cold calling, seeing new customers, and it's one thing to have it all out on social media and what we're doing and new improvements we've made and various kinds of prints that we've performed or whatever the case may be. But nothing works better for us than stepping into somebody's office or boardroom and putting a sample in their hand, showing them what we're able to do, and breaking down our service offering to them, you know, face to face, and telling them what we're capable of doing from 3D scanning to design, and then obviously on the multi-jet fusion prints. Um, but yeah, social media has had its role in the growth of our business, and it does play a partially large factor in growing the business for us. But like I said, not every region is the same. I don't
Yeah.
know how it might work for Europe or the US, and maybe social media and all of that works a lot better and it's a lot easier for them. But South Africans, we seem to be a little bit old school. People like to shake hands and meet the person who they're doing business with, and that reassurance of what he had in hand, what he had seen that day. He's going to get a similar product, a similar service when he does decide to place his first order with us or do business with us.
Yeah, I think it's extremely important, and I think it's almost the stages of the different markets where in person communication. I mean, to me, it's always matter. It's always matter a lot. Being able to know people face to face, of course, and just even have the first meeting. uh, it's so important because it builds the trust on the human level. It's basically build the trust on human level first, and that's the most important thing. You're starting to actually trust this person, even though you know them, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes in just on the in-person meeting. But then you trust, of course, and then of course you can keep this connection over LinkedIn, over email, and
Yeah,
over social media. But this initial contact is extremely important, again, because we all humans, and it still matter a lot for us. And that's something that we discussed before the recording, about the COVID and how COVID actually disrupt a lot of the things, those screen time and Zoom calls and stuff like that. It's counter human things
yeah,
to some degree, and now we are, I would say, getting back to like normalized face-to-face meetings. Of course, the trade shows, it still of course plays a big role for everyone, but definitely social media actually becoming as the some, I would say, the extension to the relationships, of course, with the people, and that's the only way to actually follow the people. I mean, on daily basis, and know what's exactly happening. So that's, I think, it's all good. And again, it's really, as you said, in the different markets, it's differently. It's all different, but it depends on the how saturated the market. Obviously, US is extremely saturated market. It's a lot of the, not just the good thing, but also a lot of the noise, of course, and you need to break through this noise somehow. That's the yeah that's a usual thing. So that's really interesting.
yeah.
So
And
mhm,
just
go ahead.
with regards to the social media as well, like when we do out of the ordinary prints for customers, and getting their approval on using um, their product or their parts that they printed with us, if we were allowed to photograph it and use that on our social media. For us in the South African sector, it is a little challenging in getting that approval, and
Mm.
so it's quite challenging for us to have something new to post every week with regards to what we've been busy with and what we be going, where we're going, and what we're doing. Um, but it has happened where we have collaborated with certain companies that we have done prints for, and we post these pictures and these prints online, and we collaborate with them in putting their names alongside it, so that we reach a broader uh, uh, what do you how would you say it? We
Base
reach a
audience,
broader
I guess.
audience,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's also paid off especially when you know we all have opposition, and opposition always follows opposition. So they always want to see what you're busy with, and you always want to see what they're busy with. So you will follow each other on the social media platforms, and when we do collaborations with other companies and what we've done for them, and we put their name on it, then all of a sudden the opposition will pick up on this on social media and see, okay, well, this is what they're doing. That is something we can look at, and it pays off. I mean, we are tied in with a lot of big brands at the moment in our South African side of things, and but to have the opposition come to us and say, we know that you're busy doing this for so and so. How about assisting us in our plans and our growth? And it has paid off.
Yeah, it's definitely win-win for the both sides. And like, I guess overall, like, people just love to listen other stories of the whatever it was, business, prints, story behind the projects. Like, really, even human side of the stories and like down to earth, part of the story. So that's I guess that's important. That's what I think we see more and more in the social media too. Like we can see that people sometimes you have some thoughts about some people, but when you listen to those people, when they interviewing, interviewed by someone, you can actually see some other sides of the people that you never would think about that. So again, it's just all about human side of the everything. It's less about the business itself. It's really about the human side of the whole thing. And that's important that now we can basically share that with pretty much all the world. So that's
Yeah,
awesome
larger
actually.
audience. Yeah, yeah.
So I would say to wrap things up. So what do you think is and specifically let's talk about specifically your region, of course, and with considering the pace of the development of the additive manufacturing in your region specifically. So what do you think the next chapter? What do you think the next big milestone you think that happened for the additive manufacturing in the South Africa, and of course specifically for Mentis 3D?
Look, yeah, like I said, it has been a long road. We are starting to see some traction being gained now in breaking grounds with additive manufacturing in our sector. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of people are set in their ways, and to try and change their mindset and try and change their ways on thinking about the future. And you know, it has been a challenge, but we're getting there. And it's I want to say that in this past quarter of ours, we've seen quite a bit of growth take place, and a lot more people being open-minded to experimenting with additive manufacturing. We're embarking on something great from our side at this moment that I can't share too much about, but yeah, we are looking at growing our current capacity. We're looking at moving premises, so we're looking at expanding and getting some more printers on board. And it's our drive and our goal to become Africa's largest printing bureau. And we are seeing a lot of growth taking place, even on the additive manufacturing on the steel side of things, where we've got a number of companies, a number of guys out here in our local sector that have manufactured their own steel printers from scratch, from the ground up. And I think it's a matter of time in winning the market over, in showing the public what is achievable, what we're capable of. And there's certain things that we're offering at the moment, in just showing them how they can save costs on having a digital inventory instead of having a huge stock holding. So no, look, it has been like I said, it has been a challenge, but I believe in the next 3 to 5 years, additive manufacturing will be quite a serious sector in our South African market, and a lot more people are going to get their minds wrapped around what is on the table here. And there's going to be a lot of conversions taking place in their production lines, in local manufacturing. And yeah, we'll just have to wait it out and see, and keep grinding it.
That's awesome to hear. And again, it's great that in different parts of the world, yes, it may be still different dynamics, of course, but it's definitely changing. Again, maybe not as fast as we all want, but again, we kind of biased to that. Of course, we want to be almost tomorrow, but maybe for a lot of the outsiders, we actually gain a lot of traction in the industry, and a lot of the things happening, a lot of the things become almost commodity, and just the things that's normal. It's a plug and play. It's easy. It is something that customer now can trust, of course, and that's important. That's important because obviously any novelty technology, any new technology is something that people might look like maybe okay, I don't know if I can trust that or not. But when they actually see the results, when they actually see that okay, it's actually can save me money, or it's something that I can get tomorrow, instead of waiting like a weeks to get. That's breaking the ice for them for sure, and in their minds, and that's something that drives our industry, and that's something that just help our business to grow. So that's I guess that's great to see that, and I'm glad that the same happening on your side of the globe too. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
thank you very
awesome.
much.
That's awesome.
No, we do appreciate it. And like I just, just off topic here, I just wanted to, mention to you the experience over the past 4 years in working with yourself and your team. We commend you guys for work done in professional experience. Your support team. I mean, just to mention a few, Scott and the rest of the guys out there. Um, you've got a great team, Konstantin, and the feedback, the general turnaround from sending a message online saying, "Hey guys, do you mind just checking this out for me?" or whatever the case, and their response time and just the way, and they're on the other side of the world, and you know, it's just been an absolute pleasure dealing with you guys and having you guys as our support system in our corner. You know, we really commend you guys and take our hats off to you.
Thank you so much. Again, it's matter a lot for us. Of course, it's really important to hear, and the whole team obviously striving to provide the best to the customers and be as much instantaneous in the responsiveness as our tool itself. So being online and being online when our customers needs us. So that's important for us. And again, that's I believe that also build the trust, because again, we're all humans, of course, and we just want to make sure that those who we're dealing with, those who how with whom we do the business is just, yeah, just not only just professionals, but also like yeah, just humans that really willing to help. And yeah, we are willing to help. That's the most important thing for us to yeah, to be there to help. So yeah,
No,
that's again awesome to hear. Great. Yeah. Thank you so much, Wayne. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for participating in this custom highlight series. Again, it's great to hear the stories behind the sort of behind the scenes stories. Of course, some insights from the market. It's really pleasure to talk to you. So thank you so much.
right. Thank
Thanks
you for
again.
having me, and I hope it's been helpful. And yeah, no, we look forward to dealing with you guys for many, many more years to come.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks again. Thanks, Wayne.
Thanks so much, Konstantin.